Hello, I'm Gus Downing, publisher and editor of the D&D Daily, and this is the LP News Network. So today we have with us Roger Leyden, the president and founder of Se-Kure Controls, and John Mangiameli, the vice president of national sales. Gentlemen, welcome.
Thank you, Gus.
How are you today?
Good.
Very good.
Glad to have you with us. Roger, I understand you just got back from Hong Kong.
I was over there for a week and just glad to get back.
Are you?
Yeah.
Tell us about the trip a little bit. What's the purpose? What's the reason behind the trip?
There was several exhibitions taking place in Hong Kong. And I wanted to go over and they were in a generalized exhibition for products to be sold throughout the world, and also security, and also parts. I was looking for sources of supplies that we could buy parts from. So that was the main part of my trip, to go over there, and I found what I went for. But it is, the one show had 3,500 exhibitors. Now, they're not in the huge booths that we see in a lot of our shows, but they're all in small booths, and closed circuit television is just prolific every place. Just you don't know who's on first when it comes down to it, but it's Hong Kong is an interesting city.
And that's part of your sourcing of products around the world.
Well, not products so much, Gus, as I was looking for some AC/DC power supplies, some special power units that we're needing in an upcoming project. So you've got to go searching, and you're limited to a certain degree of working on the internet versus going and meeting the manufacturers directly.
So going and meeting them directly is still better than going on the internet.
And then it's always a challenge,
there you go,
because of just language barriers.
Sure.
You say one thing and they say something else. So,
well, 3,500 exhibitors is rather large. I mean,
huge.
How long did it take you to see all of those and to walk that?
Well, the area that I wanted to go to, I had several areas. You can't walk that whole show. I think it took me about six and a half hours each day to walk the areas that I wanted to go participate in, and then I had to go back to several different manufacturers, and that takes up your day.
So these are all manufacturers from the Asian Rim and Australia?
Not so much Australia, but I'm going to say that in general, the Pacific Rim. They were from Taiwan, Vietnam, Korea was highly represented, and of course China.
A question on just a special interest note. How is counterfeiting impacting that industry? I mean, from a standpoint, it is, obviously impacting the retail industry, but is it also impacting the manufacturing industry for security products and such?
I don't know if you could say that as a counterfeiting, or everybody has their own little name over there.
Okay.
And many times you don't know who the manufacturer really is.
Okay.
It might be one guy and he has two or three, because a lot of times when you go in there, several of the products look very, very similar.
Okay.
And all they do is slightly change the casing or something like that. But it's very, very difficult. China is it's a world of its own.
Sure. Well, and it was just an interesting note that you had mentioned earlier that I kind of wanted to follow up on. But at any rate, Roger, your business, you've been in business since 1965, from what I understand. Can you give us a background and some history on Se-Kure Control?
I started Se-Kure in June of '65. I had $500, and that's about all I had. And that was to incorporate and pay the attorney fee. And It was from humble beginnings. I didn't have John with me at the time. I was literally by myself and another fellow that was working part-time for me. And I was selling one product, and that was convex mirrors. I was buying them from a company in the East Coast. And then one day a LP person got a hold of me or somehow, and he says, "Raj, we're losing diamond needles out of tone arms." And of course, you say diamond needles today, it's almost a passé product. But out in the displays, people would take the diamond needle out because it was a diamond. We came up, I got with a design engineer, and I fabricated a diamond needle lock. And it's two pieces of plastic that came together, and I had a lock on it, and sold thousands of them. And that was kind of the humble beginnings of Se-Kure, because in those days, there weren't very many security products. Manufacturers or distributors. There was burglar alarms. There was very little CCTV. I used to go out at that time and demonstrate CCTV in retail stores trying to sell a system. We actually caught people because people didn't know what that thing was sitting up on a ladder. And I sold several systems because I caught people. There was one drugstore, and I set the system up, and I said, "Well, I'm going to go out to lunch." And the druggist says, "Well, fine." And I came back, and he says, "Raj," he said, "I was really ticked at you because I looked at the screen, and here's a woman bent down on the far end of the store, and she's got a shopping bag, and she's just going along filling it. And I thought you set me up on it." And then he found out it was for real.
Did you make the sale?
I made the sale.
There you go.
So these are some of the things that started Se-Kure, and it was, in the beginning, people wanted a solution. They're losing this or they're losing that. Theft is high in a particular department. What can we do to stop it? Or at least slow it down. So this was some of the things that we started working on. I had a couple different engineers that I worked with, and we started designing products. Meantime, I'm still selling convex mirrors. Then domes came along. I don't know how many different products. I'm going to say today, probably I've got taken different configurations. I probably have over 800 products.
Today for sale.
For sale. And again, I start with one product, a convex mirror.
Jeez.
And I would put them in the back of my trunk of my car. I live here in Chicago. And I would head out for Detroit or Cleveland or Cincinnati. And when I ran out of mirrors, I came back to Chicago.
Are you still selling mirrors?
I own the company.
There you go.
I eventually bought the company, which is located in Sturgis, Michigan. And we just built a new building over there a couple of years ago, 61,000 square foot. And one of the neat part about it is we can do specials. And if you want something designed for you to meet your specifications, we can build it for you, as we do here in Chicago, or actually in Franklin Park, where our company is located.
Which you've been doing since 1965, basically.
Yeah. 40. We're hitting our 48th year this year, and I think we'll even make 50 if I.
There you go.
If I keep going, you know.
And John's been with you 18 years, if I remember what he said correctly.
Yeah. I found him when he was a little boy.
There you go.
Yeah.
So John, 18 years with Se-Kure Control. You've seen a lot of great guys in the team, you know, with Dave Myers, and Greg Saputo and such. Can you walk us through the 18 years? I mean, when you started and some of the journey you've had and where you are now.
Well, it's been an interesting 18 years, certainly. Been able to work with a number of the large retailers throughout the U.S., a lot of great people, met a lot of people at various trade shows. been able to be involved with a number of products and have seen how the industry has changed over that time frame. It's been fun.
In basically, talk to us about the product lines. I mean, especially for the viewers that don't know much about Se-Kure Control. I mean, what are the product lines that Se-Kure brings to the market and adds value to the retailer for?
Well, we've got several categories of products that retailers might use. First, we have mechanical products that are simply things like mechanical cables, lockdown devices, recoiling devices, retractors, domes and mirrors, things that really have few or no moving parts but involve protecting displayed merchandise. We also have electronic products that would include alarms that both power up and secure products, as well as alarms that simply secure their products. And over the past few years, we've gotten into products that help retailers merchandise their products, things like EAS pedestal covers, or our most recent product, which is the Sales Accelerator, which is an interactive system that allows for the displayed small electronics merchandise to be picked up by the customer, and then they can then obtain on a touch screen various specifications, accessories, pricing, sales, things like that. So it's changed considerably since I first started.
And you have over 800 products for the retail industry.
Right, and in those, I mean, I think that would be the basic products, but variations become many more. And since we do all of our own manufacturing in 3 locations, 2 here in Illinois and 1 in Michigan, we're able to and willing to design products based upon a customer's unique loss protection needs. I mean, they say we need this, we need it in this color, we need it in this height, and we're able to do it in a relatively short period of time.
So if I was a retailer and I came to you and I said, I'm having this problem, and it's in your world of protection products, but yet it's something new, something different. From the time that it's brought to you to the time that the retailer could get it, how much time would it take to design, engineer, manufacture, and deliver a product in your world?
It certainly does vary, but I mean, it wouldn't be unusual for us to come back within a 4 to 6 week period with some type of basic prototype that the retailer would be able to take a look at and say, yes, this is what I want, or I want these variations. This needs to be a little bit larger, a little bit smaller, whatever it might be. And we try to do it relatively quickly because they've got a problem today and they need an answer today. So we try to do that as quickly as possible.
Well, and with the retail environment changing so rapidly with mobile commerce and such, it's just changing the fabric of retail and the consumer and the loss prevention executive, for that matter. Can you give us an idea of your senior structure, your management structure of your organization?
I'm the president, of course, but I don't look at that much. I'm doing a lot of design work, coming up with new ideas. Our sales team come in all the time with, well, we just got through talking to, and they are having a problem with, and okay, fine, let's see what we can do. And we take it into a committee, and the committee kind of looks around and says, if we possibly can come up with an idea. John is my national sales manager, has been with me, like I said, 18 years. Mike, who you met yesterday, has been with us about a little bit over a year, or a little bit less, I forget what it is, and he is an executive VP. I also have Laura Greenwell. Laura, I found 30 years ago. She was a junior in high school, and she came in looking for a job part-time because she was going to high school about 3 blocks away from our office. And I says, yeah, come on in. Well, I says, what do you do? Do you have any work experience? She says, I work in a dog and cat hospital. Well, that lady today is an executive vice president. She's the only one that signs the checkbook besides me. So you start developing long-term relationships. Zami Mekauer is my director of international marketing. Zami has been with me probably close to 20 years. We have some of the gals in the office, been with us 12, 15 years. They handle a lot of the calls that don't have to come to us. They can troubleshoot right on the phone. They're so used to the product. In our production facilities, we have people out there that have been with us. Some of the gals, we have two plants. We have the one on Franklin, in Franklin Park, and then we have one about half a mile away on County Line Road. The Franklin Park operation is where we do all of our manufacturing. Our County Line Road plant is where we do all of our assembly. On County Line, we have like 125 employees. At our manufacturing facility in Franklin Park, we probably have about 60 to 70. And then over in Sturgis, Michigan, we have another 30. So we don't lose people. As you were talking about Dave Myers, for those of you who might not know Mr. Myers or have had the joy of meeting him, he was VP of Loss Prevention for Montgomery Wards for many years, I believe. And out of that company came many of the LP people that are out there in the retail environment today. Then Dave decided it's time to retire, which he did. And then Greg Saputo was VP of Loss Prevention for Kmart for, I think, 11 or 12 years. And I got to know him very well over the years. And then he came to work for me. And then he was commuting from Florida, and it was starting to wear on him.
Sure.
And he would fly into Chicago on Monday and then fly back to Florida on Friday. And he finally said, "Raj, flying is flying, and it isn't easy anymore." So he has now got, he's with another company and staying at home now, not traveling near as much as he was doing before. But that brings a whole new interest or a whole new side of the loss prevention when you have somebody who has been in loss prevention for years, where we're on the manufacturing, we're on the sales side of it. And that gives us a better I got particularly from Dave Myers, I got a great insight into that side of the world. But as John had said, it's fun every day. It's a lot of work, don't get me wrong, but the company has been growing. We had a tough year in '09. I think everybody did.
As everyone.
And 10 turned around. 11 was a good year. 12, first quarter, up. I'm just very, very, I can see weakness in the market. Budgets are tight. I've had conversations with saying that we're not spending any money. And, but it has to turn around in the year because thieves don't take the day off. Dishonest employees don't take the weekend off. You know, they're still there.
So you're confident about the future, about the short-term future over the next year?
I can't help but think that from what right now we have about 5 new products, 6 new products that we're going to be introducing in probably the next 3 to 4 months.
Yeah, Mike was sharing that with me yesterday.
And one of the products is a safety product, not related to loss prevention. It's a product for ladder safety. And our convex mirrors are for safety and also to prevent shoplifting or be able to see around corners. So we're very diversified in that area. We're not just closed circuit television, which we aren't, thank God. I was in it many years ago and found out our little niche was what we're doing today. By the way, it's always an invite to yourself or anybody else in the LP industry. If you ever want to come in or in Chicago, want to see our operation, the door is always open. And it's interesting. We've had quite a few people in through the years, and it's interesting to see, oh, there's my product. Yeah, you know, oh, there it goes, you know, it's down the line. It's interesting to see how we make products from the raw materials. So we are I would say probably about 95, 96% of our products that we sell are made here in the USA. And I'm just bullheaded Irishman that way.
There you go.
I want to keep it in the U.S. And we've been very successful in being able to do it.
Can you talk to us about your customer service model? I mean, how is it structured? And I mean, one of the big things in the service industry, and in whether you're supplying a product or you're supplying a service, is the customer service side of the house. You know, how is Secure Control modeled there? What does that look like?
John, do you want to?
Well, fortunately, we've had customer service people who have been with us for a long time and have developed relationships with our customers. And those customers call in often asking for a specific person who is quite familiar with not only with the account and what they purchase, but with the person who's calling. So from that standpoint, we are fairly fortunate because we do have people who have developed a personal relationship. I mean, it's similar to the fact that we don't have an automated attendant when you call during the day. We actually have a person that answers the phone. And
I've noticed that, by the way.
Asks you, who do you want to speak to? What do you need? So that we can direct you somewhere. So our customer service people are probably one of the strengths of the company. They're certainly someone who deals with the customers on a daily basis and fortunately deals with them very well, gets the orders processed, gets the questions answered, and I'm not sure if I'm answering your question.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And how many shows are you guys going to go to this year? Is your company going to be at this year?
I would say about 12 or 13.
Yeah.
We've when I first started 18 years ago, it was more like 20 or 24. But I mean, we've seen some consolidation in the industry, and as a result, some consolidation in the shows. But we're almost at a show a month throughout the year.
And that's including international. We do about 3 international shows, and probably we'll be doing more.
Where are they internationally located? Where are they located?
There's one in Birmingham, England, another in Essen, Germany, and the other one is in another town I just slipping my mind at the moment. There's 2 in Germany, and then in alternate years, I believe there's 4.
So you're selling to retailers worldwide?
Yes.
Now, what is the percentage of U.S. versus European, if I may ask?
Let me put it a little different.
Yeah, certainly.
U.S. versus the world.
There you go.
Our international market is about 30% of our company.
And growing?
And growing.
Or do you see that tightening up in Europe?
That's tightening up in Europe.
Okay.
They're not expanding in Europe.
Right.
Where here, there goes a new strip mall. There goes a new shopping center being planned. Where in Europe they're very conservative, and particularly right now.
What about your Canadian distributor? You had one earlier.
Yes, yes.
And you still do?
We still have a Canadian distributor. Company's name is Gunnebo. They're quite an interesting company. They do come from Europe. I believe their corporate headquarters are in, do you remember?
It's a Scandinavian
countries. And they have 14 offices across Canada. So they're very, very diversified. They're heavily into safes, key control. They'll have to go into a store because somebody stole the keys or lost the keys, and they have to go in and rekey the whole store. So they're
well, and with all the Canadian growth over the next 2 to 5 years, I mean, there's going to be over 1,000 new retail stores in Canada over the next 2 to 5 years, 2 to 4 years probably. I quite frankly don't believe that the market's going to support it. That many stores.
But Canada is smoking.
Oh, it is.
And particularly out west with the oil.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So I see, I was up in Canada a couple of months ago, and you could see new buildings being built where you don't see that here as much as up there. They are a progressive country. They have not been hit as we have with home devaluation, property devaluation, and layoffs. They're much better shape than we are.
Well, obviously, with your new products coming out, you're staying ahead of the technology, the curve. You are developing products along with that technology curve. What else differentiates Secure Control? What brings you to the table, so to speak, different than some of the other providers, if I may ask that question?
I think first, we do our manufacturing domestically. And since we're very well integrated and we're controlling as much as we can component parts and pieces, and we do our own metal fabrication, our own plastic injection molding, our own electronics, we have the ability to respond, as I mentioned earlier, quickly to a customer's request. And in addition to having the ability, I think we have the willingness, which isn't always the case. You don't have to order 10,000 of an item in order to get a new product from us, whereas you might have to do that if you were trying to source that product from the Pacific Rim. So I think that what we offer is an ability and willingness to custom design products and the ability to get that done rather quickly and get it into the customer's hands as soon as possible.
Given the tough economy and from the perspective of your organization, I mean, how do you see the future? I mean, what is your, prognosis of the future over the next 2 to 5 years?
Well, I wish I had a crystal ball, but I think retail will start expanding again. There's a lot of empty stores out in the marketplace. First of all, stores wear out. I never realized that until I was particularly doing a lot of shopping and noticed how the counters, because of the people moving, they actually wear out.
Sure.
Carts bang into counters, and they have to refurbish a store. A lot of times the population changes. We're a never moving country, where Europe is very much, they stay where they're at. I think retail will be growing much slower than in prior years. That is, I think, a given. But the LP industry is still going to be filled with thieves, both internal and external.
Sure.
God love them. I kind of joke about it. If everybody turned on us tomorrow, I'm in the plastic injection molding business, and that just isn't going to happen, Gus.
Sure.
I tell this story a lot of times that if you had a product worth $5,000 10 or 15 years ago, it was at Tiffany's under a piece of glass and there was a guard standing there. And today it's called a laptop.
There you go.
And there it is sitting out on the counter.
Exactly.
So temptation is always there. And we have no idea what's coming in the next 2 to 5 years in new products, particularly in electronics. Digital camera. Did you sell your Kodak stock? Think about it. Kodak is gone, and so things are changing. Is furs going to be back in soon? What's going to happen to the garment industry? Shoes. My gosh, go out and buy a pair of shoes today. Look how much they cost.
Sure.
So theft is here to stay. It's not going away, and the loss prevention industry is going to have a tougher battle because sometimes their protection forces or the people that are in the stores have been cut, and it's hard to stop people from
Well,
stealing.
and they're going to a paperless world.
And paperless
where
world.
you don't have receipts in the customer's hands.
Right.
They're checking you out from iPads in the middle of the store, so you don't have those lines to watch. So the entire methodologies in the loss prevention industry is changing. They're going through a massive change, which is going to bring with it a whole new set of laws, a whole new set of lawsuits, just a whole new playing deck for the loss prevention executive. And it's vendors such as yourself that are going to arm these executives with the tools they need for tomorrow.
And that's what we have to dream up.
Absolutely.
And a lot of it, Gus, the products that we're going to be selling next year or the year after, we haven't invented yet.
Exactly.
We had we won't think of it for another year. And that becomes scary sometimes.
So keep going to Hong Kong.
Oh, boy. Oh,
Keep it up.
over there in this mall that I walked through, every store at every door had a person. I'm not saying it was a guard, but there was a person at every single store at that front door.
Sure.
So they were scanning you as you came in. They were looking you over.
Sure.
So,
Well, I want to thank you both for coming today and sitting down and chatting with us. It was a great pleasure. So thank you for coming, gentlemen.
thank you for the invite, Gus.
Absolutely.
And we look forward to seeing you again soon.
There you go.
Thanks, Gus.
Well, folks, that's it for this edition of the LP News Network. I appreciate you watching. And remember, the next time you go in the stores, it's all about the relationships. Thank you.